Welcome to another week with author E. Jamie. Um, this week is always a hard one because uh, it's my birthday today, but yesterday was the second anniversary of the death of my sister. So it's always a weird sort of feeling because you don't really feel celebratory. And yesterday I spent the day out. I didn't want to stay at home, sort of by myself with my own sort of thoughts, and because I knew that I'd be too sad. So I went out and did some book retail therapy, and it was a difficult day, but it was. I'm glad that I sort of went out, and it's hard because it's like the grief is less. It's been 2 years, and the grief is less, but the sense of loss isn't. And I don't know if that makes sense to anybody but me. Because, like, for me, the grief of it isn't the same to, like, what I'm feeling now. It's like, yeah, like when the day comes, it's hard. But just in general, day by day, that sort of hole is sort of always there. Like, I can go through my day and be fine and like not even think about it some days consciously. But it just for the longest time it was just the three of us. It was me and my two sisters. We have a half brother now. But growing up, and for about like 20 years, it was just me and my sisters. And now there's only two of us. And I haven't been able to sort of reconcile that lost kind of piece of that three-piece puzzle. So every year, kind of, like, I don't know, hopefully it'll get easier with like subsequent years, but so far it's the first year was hard. Yes, the first I think 6 months were kind of the hardest. And then it just sort of went to sort of like the back of your mind, and then there were times where you didn't even think about it. But that sense of a missing bit of yourself, that is always there now. You don't feel, I don't want to say whole, because I do like feel like I am happy with my life, and I love, you know, the life that I am living. Yes, financially it could be easier, and I wish that like I lived in like a nicer place, but as like myself, I feel whole and good and happy, but not like there's like a bit missing, and that I'm sort of reminded of that again this year. So I didn't want to stay home and sort of dwell on that. So I went out, um, got some books and things, and um, this month of July, I knew that like my whole book bang ban thing was going to go out the window because I was going to get all the birthday coupons and I was going to get all the birthday discounts and stuff, and that happened. And so some this is going to be a massive book haul showing display because I'm not like, it's not going to be like the standard book haul where I go through like that one of those and like read the back blurbs and all this stuff. I'm just going to just show you the damage that was done this month. I'm not going to like read any back blurbs or anything, which, you know, you're going to be grateful for, because otherwise this would be like a 2-hour vlog. I'm going to save the details and stuff for when I do the book hauls. So I guess let's just start with showing like that stuff. Okay, so first, the one that I have to show is V.C. Andrews' Rain. Now, I know of this series. I haven't read this series yet, but I know of it. And it's the definite, like, old school covers, thank you very much, with the little hole in the middle that, and you open it up and there's the creepy family. And I believe that they made a movie of this. I think I saw it. I haven't seen it, but I think I saw the poster of it or something on Netflix. I think it was. But yeah, it's better just do this on the floor, and then we'll pick it up later. Next is Dean Koontz's The Silent Corner. And the inside is just quotes and stuff. And I'm trying to make my way through his backlist because I like Dean Koontz, and I know that my sister is a huge, huge fan of his. So I sort of want to get back into his books. Yeah, I went out yesterday, but this whole week is like hot AF. But even though, like, I knew that like I couldn't stay home, so I went out yesterday anyway. And yes, it was hot AF, but there was the occasional breeze, and I ended up going to the library and sort of staying in there for like a while, and it was like lovely and cool in there. Thank goodness. Thank goodness for libraries, y'all. So let me continue here. We have Lynn Graham's His Cinderella's One Night Air. Harlequin Presents, which I love. Maya Angelou's I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Now, some of these, I believe these were all in July, but I might have, because I have like the piles there and I sort of like rearrange them sometimes to make room for like the new books. So they might, and this is apparently, this isn't a biography. I think this is her biography. I always thought it was a fiction. I always thought it was a novel, but I don't think so. I think this is her autobiography. So yeah, I believe these were all in June, but there might be one or two that I'd already shown, but sort of got mixed in with this pile. So we're gonna go ahead with that. We have Karen Slaughter's Blindsided, which I believe is her first novel. I believe that is her first novel. It has the has an insert cover, but it's just words. Um, yeah, so that's the first one. So looking forward to that. Then we have another Karen Slaughter, which is a smaller one called Last Breath, with a quote from Gillian Flynn, "I'd follow her anywhere." Yeah, I pretty much want to read everything that she's written. Um, I know that she has like she has like her standalones, and she has her Will Trent books, I believe. I haven't started those, um, just because I want to read her standalones first. Um, Next we have Judith Krantz's Princess Daisy, which I love Judith Krantz and her saucy, soapy, melodramatic, crazy sauce books. And I remember reading Princess Daisy long time ago. I mean, 12-year-old me was all about the melodrama crazy sauce. The Judith Krantz's, Danielle Steele's, just, yeah, Barbara Taylor Bradford. Yeah, I was all about that. And it's been a while, so I look forward to rereading this. And I'm actually watching the miniseries right now. Right now. I started it yesterday, and I'm continuing it today. Uh, so that's sort of what we're doing uh, this week. We're catching up on all the miniseries that I have saved. Yeah, so there's that one. This one is The Source by James A. Michener. I don't know if this is some kind of from and it has a little note here at the bottom. From Hanson Christmas 1986, given on December 20, 86 at Hanson's house. That's cool. I don't think, like, I think this one's more of a religious history kind of book. I don't think it's about a specific place, but always love me an epic. Next we have another Karen Slaughter, Pretty Girls. And there is an insert cover with different quotes and things. And next I got this book of poetry, Lang Leaves September Love, with a foreword by Lily Reinhardt from Riverdale, Betty Cooper. And I believe Lang is from Toronto, and I know that I follow her on Twitter, and I really enjoy the little like snippets and stuff that she would post. So the fact that when I found this, I definitely like had to grab it. The next five were not, I did not buy these. I found them in the lobby of my building, which, if you're new here, sometimes we have like this little trading library going, free little library going, but it doesn't look like a free little library. Like there's no like little setup with like a little wooden house or anything like that. It's just we leave it books on the lobby sort of table. there's like a little table, and I like to leave books there for people, and then every once in a while, like I'll find that people have left books there as well. So I found these there, and they are primarily, I believe, all YA, which I believe they're all most of them are Wattpad novels, but and I don't necessarily read YA, but they were free and they're romance, so YA romance. So I figured, why not give them a shot? Why not give them a shot? This one we have, it's called The Upside of Falling by Alex Light. This is actually an advanced reading copy. Float by Kate Marchant. Another arc, Fight for Her by Liz Plum. Is somebody in my building a booktuber? Because we have a few arcs here, and I don't know. Next is, I can't pronounce this right. It's I want to say The Famous, but it's not The Famous because it has an X at the end, by Cassandra Tate. So The Famex, The Famu, The Famooks. What is this word? And why didn't you just... So it's like a post-apocalyptic, I believe. Yeah, why did you call it that? Why did you call it something that people can't pronounce? Like, I get it, you're trying to be edgy and original, but stop it. And next we have The Spring Girls by Anna Todd, who I believe, and it's a modern retelling of Little Women. I am not a fan of retellings. I'm really not. Because I find that it's just like, I already know what the story is. Retellings rarely work for me. Because I don't want to be like reading a book and being like, oh, I know who this character is. Oh, I know what this part is referencing. I know what this is about. I know what's going to happen. Like I don't like that. I'm not a fan of retellings like at all. I know that for a while that they were huge, but I never got into them. Never got into them. They just were not for me. But I know that Anna Todd, I believe, is also the author of the After books, which I think my sister, I don't think she's read them, but I know she's seen the movies, and she's enjoyed them. Next we have The Hidden Letters by Lorna Cook. And again, I'm not sure if this is from the July haul or from another time and just got mixed in. Next we have The Complete Journals of L.M. Montgomery, the PEI years, 1901 to 1911. And again, I want to read everything that this woman has written. I was so very excited to find this. I believe there's more. There's more of these around. Next we have The Cranford Chronicles by Elizabeth Gaskell. And I had seen just Cranford by itself. And then I saw this, and I didn't know if, like, what is it, is it the same book? Is it, but apparently it's three. Yeah, it's three of her novels sort of set in the same town. There's Mr. Harrison's Confessions, Cranford, and My Lady Ludlow. So I'm very excited to read these. You know how much I love Elizabeth Gaskell. I am actually going to be getting I want to get a special edition, special pretty edition of Ruth by Elizabeth Gaskell, because I decided that I do want to keep that book. I gave the book away already, but I decided that I want to get it again as sort of a special edition copy. Because even though I hated that ending, next to Jane Eyre, it is the best classic that I have read so far, still. And I think even besides that ending, 99% of it I adored. Yes, it was a little slow when we would get away from Ruth and when we were like with what was his name? The jackass who judged her, and at the end it became sort of his redemption instead of either Billingham or Ruth. Like, instead of like Billingham's redemption, it became this random Bradford, Brewster, Browning. Yeah, so that pissed me off to no end. But apart from that, I absolutely loved the book, and I want to get a special edition pretty copy for it. Unfortunately, Paper Mill Press does not have it, but there are other pretty editions that I saw, so I'm going to be getting one of those. But looking forward to this. Next is another book of poetry, Leonard Cohen's Death of a Ladies' Man. And he definitely had a talent with the written word, and of course his music. So I've never read sort of his poetry or his like short stories or anything like that, but I'm looking forward to reading that. Next, we have another L.M. Montgomery, A Name for Herself, Selected Writings 1891 to 1917, and I believe these are short stories and essays. So absolutely looking forward to this. I mean, just, oh my God. Yes. Next we have Jackie Collins' Hollywood Husbands. I have read Hollywood Wives. I've read Hollywood Kids. I believe I've read Hollywood Divorces, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't think I've read Hollywood Husbands yet. So when was this? No, it was The World is Full of Divorced Women. I think I've read that one. But yeah, 1986. So looking forward to that. And we have J.D. Robb's Celebrity in Death. I want to eventually get all the in-death books. Yeah, because I like that series. I like that series, but not for the suspense part. I like it for the romance between like Eve and Rourke and her relationship with like all the other characters and stuff. That's why I read it for. I don't read it for the mystery. And lastly, we have Karen Slaughter's Unseen. That's another novel. I believe it is nope. It's a Will Trent book. So like I'll get them. I'll get like all the Karen Slaughter books, including the Will Trent books, but I won't read the Will Trent books yet because I want to read all her standalones first. So yeah. So that was all from, I believe that was all from like July and like book discount coupons and like birthday stuff, and yeah. Speaking of birthday stuff, I went to my sister's, and she was gonna leave for 2 weeks to go to New Brunswick to visit her in-laws. So, and she wasn't gonna. She's there now, so she's not. I can't like spend my birthday with her because she's out of town. So she gave me my birthday present early. So I want to show you sort of what she got me. And the first few things are for my fellow Queen of the South fans. I love that show. I am rewatching seasons 1 to 4 with my sister. I'm introducing her to the show, and she is loving it as well. We are up to season 4. We are almost finished season 4, and then we will be watching season 5 for the first time together. Either one of us. I have not seen season 5 yet. I'm waiting to watch it with her. She got me this. Not today, cabrón. And that is our beloved Pote, who is, he is the Sam character, if you know what I mean. Every TV show has that Sam character, who is the ride or die, best, most precious character who will always stand by you and who will might literally even die for you. And everybody needs a Sam. You've got Samwise Gamgee. You've got Samuel Tarly. You've got Sam Winchester. All like those types of characters. Pote is a Sam. And we love him. We love him so much. He's, a drug dealer's hitman. But we love him. He's a drug dealer's number 2, but we love him. And then she got me All Hail the Queen. Yes! Again, Queen of the South. Teresa, the lead character. All hail the mother effing queen. She is the queen. Camilla was the queen, but there's a new queen in town. And then this is a bookmark. And those pages. They are magnetic bookmarks. Love that. Just put that in here, and a lot of this stuff she found, I believe, on Etsy, which you gotta love Etsy. Etsy has everything. And this last one is this absolutely gorgeous bookmark. A little like gold tassel in the back, and it has this little butterfly on it that I believe like we're supposed to attach it somewhere here. But oh, isn't that like so pretty? I mean, oh my goodness gracious, that's gorgeous. So that's my little birthday haul. So very happy about all of that. And let's get some reading updates, shall we? I Again, I will go into more detail when I do my wrap up. But I read and finished on Audible Rachel Gibson's "What I Love About You," and what I hated about this book was the hero. Absolutely hated him. The only reason, like, I hated the romance in this book. A contemporary romance, and I hated the romance. But I kept listening for one reason, and one reason only. The 6-year-old, Charlotte. I adored that little girl beyond measure. I mean, and I know that some readers don't like plot moppets. They don't like kids in romances. I love them. And she, for me, was the saving grace of this book because the hero, oh, I could not stand him. He was just, okay, so I can't remember what his name is. I don't care. James? No, I don't care. The heroine's name, I believe, was Natalie. And she was a single mom raising Charlotte because her first husband turned out to be a piece of crap who cheated people, not only cheated on her, but cheated people out of money, so he went to prison. And then, he comes back into their life, and Michael, I shouldn't have been rooting for Michael. I should not have been rooting for Michael and Natalie to get back together, but I was. Because even though she was like, I don't love you anymore, we'll be civil to each other for Charlotte's sake, but I'm with somebody else now who just, right from the beginning, Natalie runs a photography studio. And she's talking to her friend, or sister-in-law? Friend. Sometimes they talk about the pictures that certain people come and develop at their photo studio. And sometimes they see like some weird shit, including this one guy who took a picture of his mister, and apparently it was very intimidating, an intimidating looking mister. And the hero apparently overhears them talking about this, and he starts flirting with Natalie. And like, oh, he's the hot hero guy and everything. So Natalie is like, trying not to flirt back because she makes it very clear that she's not looking for a relationship because she's focused on raising her daughter, and she doesn't want to bring a man in. This is very important. She doesn't want to bring a man in for her daughter to get attached to just for him to leave, because she's already had to deal with that with her first husband. Put a pin in that. So the hero is like flirting with her, and he said, this is their first conversation together. He says to her, well, if you want to see a monster cock in real live person, you know where to find me. And I was like, first of all, ew, but also, ew? Like, who says, like, what, was that supposed to be sexy? No. No. But I kept reading, and I'm not going to give like a full like reading sort of wrap up kind of thing because I want to save that for my wrap up. But let's just say that was the first thing that he did that kind of put me off. But I was like, oh, okay. But then like Charlotte I thought I was out, but Charlotte drew me back in. I loved that little girl. So I'll go into more detail about that in my wrap up. But needless to say, I hated What I Love About You. What I love about that book, Charlotte, period. That was it. I read and loved Spaniard's Baby of Revenge. And I think that this one's going on my keeper shelf as well. I've been having like really good luck with Harlequin Presents for a while now. And I think I mentioned in my last, I think it was a wrap up or it was a book haul, I'm not sure, but I enjoy Harlequin Presents, but usually they're a sort of one and done for me. Like, rarely does one like grab me so much that I think it deserves a spot on my keeper shelf. And I think this one does. Because I just loved and the funny thing is, the first chapter or two really put me off. I was going to give up on this book after the first chapter or two because of the setup of how she again ends up getting pregnant and how they like don't even like know each other. But it wasn't like a I meet you in a bar kind of thing and like they're so like overcome with desire or whatever that they have like a one night stand. No, it wasn't that. It was just weird how they came about having sex the first time. And I was going to DNF this book. But I had forgotten to take it out of my purse and replace it with a new one. So this was the only one that I had to read at my lunch breaks and on my commutes and stuff. So I ended up just continuing. And I'm glad that I did, because apart from that weird-ass beginning, I loved this book. I just absolutely did. And again, I will save the details for the wrap-up, so make sure you're subscribed if you want to know more. I finished Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. Loved the first half more than I loved the second half. But the ending was just pretty bananas. And I was so glad that I was right about who the benefactor was. That's all I'm going to say. I was right about who it was. I will go into more spoilery stuff in my wrap-up, but I think I mentioned in my previous vlog that I thought that it was one of two people. And I was really hoping that it was one of those two specifically. And it was. So, yeah. I loved the first half of the book better than the second half. But the ending was good. I liked the ending. I think, again, not my favorite classic. Like, it was okay. It was just okay. I think this book is overrated, really. I didn't get much of a romance between Stella and Pip. Estella and Pip. They weren't on the page together much. And I'll go into more detail when I do my wrap-up, but I think this is overrated. There's better classics out there. I've read, like, Ruth is still better. Jane Eyre is still better. I, it was okay. It was okay. So, like, not a keeper. Um, I've read my first Daniel Silva, The Order, and I know that he has, like, other books sort of with the same main character, Gabriel. Um, and he gets involved in, like, mysteries and stuff like that, and, like, conspiracies and all that. But this one specifically was around the Vatican and the church, and, like, I eat that crap up. So I've seen, like, a few. I've read a few of, like, the blurbs of his other um, books and such, but I haven't. They haven't really, like, grabbed me. Like, again, like, mysteries, it has to be a very specific kind to grab me. Um, so I liked this book. Um, I really liked the ending. I really, really liked the ending, but it was okay. I liked it. It didn't, like, blow me away or anything, but I liked it. Um, so what I am reading right now, let me get my Take to Work book, and I am a little over halfway through, is An English Bride in Scotland by Lindsay Sands. I am absolutely loving this book. Absolutely loving this book. She was going to be a nun, and he was supposed to marry her sister. But the sister ended up falling in love with somebody else and running away. So she has to not be a nun anymore, not go almost be a nun, and marry him instead to fulfill the terms of the contract. And I am loving their relationship so much. I just I love how he is with her, and how just sweet, and, like, their relationship is just so sweet. Um, so yeah, really, really enjoying this so far. In terms of the my new classic, I am a little smidge over halfway to reading Rilla of Ingleside, Anne of Green Gables number 8, the final Anne of Green Gables book. It's the last one. I'm gonna be so sad to finish this series. I obviously I have, like, other Lucy Maud Montgomery books waiting for me, but in terms of the Anne of Green Gables series, this is the last one, and I'm sad about it. Um, we have Rilla, who is the last Blythe baby. She is about 16 now, and everybody is going off to war. World War I has started, and all, like, Jem is gone. Some of the Meredith children, the Meredith boys have gone. Walter has gone, and I'm so scared for my baby Walter. Listen, I will be sad if anything happens to Jem, of course. But oh my god, if anything happens to Walter, if Walter does not come back safe and sound, I will be very, very upset. Be very, very upset. Because that boy is my heart. I adore that boy so much. So, they've gone off to war. Rilla is having a little bit of a romance has started with between her and Kenneth Ford, which I believe he is the son of, I can't remember their names, but the girl, was her name Marie or Leslie? Was it Leslie? Who had the husband who was a piece of crap, who had had the brain injury, and so like she was like taking care of him, but then she found out that her actual husband had died, and she was actually taking care of his twin brother or something, and so she actually was free to like be happy, and she fell in love with this guy Ford. I remember his last name was Ford. Gerald? Graham? George? It was a G, I believe. But anyway, Ken is their son. And so now he and Rilla are starting a little thing. And that's very, very sweet. So that's sort of where I am there. I'm a little smidge over the halfway point. So yeah, that's sort of little reading updates. I wanted to mention I most recently watched, oh my god, this movie, y'all. I loved this movie so much. Ethan Hawke as this psychotic child kidnapper who kidnaps the lead boy, played by Mason Thames? 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 It's pronounced like the Thames River, but I don't know if that's how you pronounce his last name. And Madeline McCraw plays the boy's sister. And there is this black phone in the room where the boy, Finney, gets taken. And I don't want to tell you anything really else because I don't want to spoil it. But I will say, the child actors in this are exquisite. Mason looks like a little baby Jared Padalecki. I mean, let's have a conversation here. Not too clear. Wait, this one, maybe this one is clearer, not really. But yeah, he looks like a little baby Jared Padalecki. And I think he actually was in Walker playing a little baby Jared Padalecki. um, yeah, I think he plays a little Cordell. Um, and the girl who played his sister in this, Madeline McGraw. Is she any relation to Tim McGraw? I don't think so. But, oh, she was amazing. Oh, she was amazing. The belt scene. That's all I'm going to say. The belt scene. And I've learned a new swear word. You dumb fucking fart knocker. We learned a new swear word this month. And that's all I'm going to say in terms of plot. This is, and I will die on this hill, one of the best horror movies that I've seen since the Conjuring franchise. And like one of the best recent horror movies that I've seen. And some people will say that it's more of a thriller than a horror, that it's not really that scary. I will disagree because for me, and I find that this is a reason that a lot of like horror movies don't necessarily work for me, because a lot of horror movies, it's all just either gore, torture porn, or jump scares. Like jump scares, that's not a horror movie to me. Like if a fork falls out of, the thing on the counter and hits the floor and like startles me. Ooh, is that a horror moment? No, I just got startled. That's not horror to me. This, there's maybe like two jump scares in this, and those jump scares work because the tension in this is exquisite. The suspense in this is exquisite. The bike lock scene? Y'all. That bike lock scene is scarier than any freaking Scream movie. I said what I said. Any freaking Saw movie. I said what I said. Any scary, popular movie, with the exception of the Conjuring series, which I absolutely adore, because again, it's that like paranormal, scary stuff that is totally my catnip. I that one moment, that bike lock scene is scarier than 90% of the horror movies that are out today. I said what I said. Period. Full stop. End of sentence. And it is based on a short story written by Joe Hill, who I believe is Stephen King's son. I haven't read the short story, and I don't know if I'm going to, just because I've heard that this fleshes out the story so much more. And it's usually the other way around. Like, granted, it's a short story, so it'll be like shorter, but I've heard that the movie just fleshes out the characters and relationships and just adds more. So I just absolutely adored this movie. I got it from the library. I had to get my own copy because I want this for my DVD collection. Cannot praise it enough. It also has Jeremy Davies, who, for my Lost fans, you know him as Daniel Faraday. And turns out he actually does talk like that. It's not just a weird Daniel Faraday thing. He actually does talk like that. That slow sort of whisper, except when he's yelling and doing something, the belt scene, except during that scene. But for the majority, his normal tone of voice is the Daniel Faraday voice. So that was a surprise to me. I thought it was just an affectation that he used for the character in Lost, but no. That's actually how Jeremy Davies talks. But okay. And just this movie was just fantastic. Absolutely loved this movie. And if you don't know, Ethan Hawke, for Stranger Things fans, is actually the real-life dad of Maya Hawke, who plays Robin in Stranger Things. So I cannot recommend this movie enough. He is creepy AF, and a lot of people say that they wanted more about him And they wanted more of like what made him this way and like what motivated him to like do this horrible stuff. And no, no, they did perfectly not giving you any of that because it makes it scarier. I don't want a, oh, this poor boy was abused, so of course he would grow up to like be this demented baby killer. I don't want no understanding of his motivations. You don't have that. So that makes it scarier when you don't know what drives him to do what he's doing. I think it was very smart of them not to try to explain him because it's scarier if you don't know. It's scarier if when somebody kills for no reason. Like that movie, The Strangers, I will loop that in with one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. Why? Because it's a home invasion, which can very easily happen, and one of the scariest lines is the ending line. Why are you doing this to us? Because you were home. One of the most terrifying lines. Because you were home. You get no explanation. Like, there's no reasoning behind their killing of people. There's no reasoning behind his kidnapping and killing of children. And that's what makes it terrifying. So, cannot recommend this movie enough. Please go watch it. Please go watch it and just let's talk about it in the comments about how much you enjoyed this movie. I don't want to hear if you didn't like it. That's good for you. Keep that to yourself. Keep it in a little box in your heart. I don't care. You're wrong. This is my channel and you're wrong. So, what I am going to be doing today, I'm going to be doing I'm going to be staying home, doing some cleaning up, doing some promotional stuff, which, oh my goodness, this week has been amazing for book sales. Thank you so much to everybody who's picked up a book of mine this week. I totally appreciate it. It was so nice to like see the numbers going up this week. A very nice surprise. Do please, if you enjoyed it, leave a rating and or review on Goodreads or Amazon or wherever you bought it. If you didn't like it, again, keep that in a little box in your heart. I don't need to know it. I don't need to know. And so, yeah, that was like lovely to see. I'm going to be cleaning up around here. I'm going to be doing some promotional sort of stuff, making up some more Instagram posts and stuff. What was I going to say? What was I going to say? Oh, the majority of my books end their runs on Kindle Unlimited this week. This week and in the next like few days. So I'm going to start putting them up on Draft to Digital, which will then distribute them. They will still be available on Amazon, but they will also be available on Barnes & Noble, on Smashwords, on iTunes, on Kobo, on like library apps, um, but no longer on Kindle Unlimited, because Kindle Unlimited demands exclusivity, and I'm just not making enough via Kindle Unlimited to, with these like books, to justify keeping them there as opposed to giving them a wider distribution. For now, the only books that will stay on Kindle Unlimited is my Resistance trilogy. For now, I'm going to give it one more term and sort of see how it goes. But my Resistance trilogy includes The Arrangement, The Affair, and The Atonement. The Atonement. Those three books are going to still be available on Kindle Unlimited at least for the next 3 months. My other books will all be leaving Kindle Unlimited this week, and I'm looking forward to giving them a wider distribution. I'm thinking about actually working on some new covers for. I'm going to start with The Arrangement and giving it sort of an updated cover, because it's a World War II fiction and World War II sort of romance, and that is very big right now. So I want to sort of take advantage of that and give it sort of an updated cover, uh, more sort of in line of what the World War II fiction and World War II romance covers are looking like recently. So I'm thinking about that. So the next couple of weeks are going to be very fun, sort of book-wise, in talking about like my own books. So in publishing wise for my books, the next couple of weeks are going to be very fun. Um, yeah, so I think that's all that I had to update with you guys on. Um, so I think that's going to be the end of this rather lengthy vlog. Um, I just wanted to sort of come on here and give you guys a general sort of update of like what I got and sort of what's been going on, and just sort of put yesterday away and get more in a nicer sort of headspace and come on here and talk with you guys about like movies and stuff. And oh, what am I going to be watching today? I'm going to be watching more of my the second half of Princess Daisy, the Judith Krantz miniseries, and I'm also going to be watching A Passage to India, based on the E.M. Forster book, I believe. E.M. Forster, yep. So, and I actually have A Passage to India on my shelf somewhere there in the mountain, in my TBR mountain. Um, but you know what I always say? Always watch the movie first. If there is a movie adaptation, watch the movie first. Um, and yeah, so this is what I'm going to be watching today. Barring any technical difficulties, hopefully not. Because yeah, sometimes you get books, you get DVDs from the library, and they're either damaged and you can't necessarily enjoy them, which is always a shame. But usually they're all right. Usually they're pretty good. So hopefully I'll be able to watch this today. And I made my first smoothie today. I had it. I'm not really much of a smoothie person, but the insomnia, she's coming and going. And last week I was at my sister's and I was just having a time of it. We watched The Black Phone together with my niece, because I had already seen it, and I told her, and I was like, you guys are going to love this movie. I would love to watch it with you and my niece, who is 12. And she absolutely adored it. I think it's one of her favorite movies now, and my sister enjoyed it as well. But sort of towards the middle of the day, or like the late afternoon, I sort of hit a wall and I just had the hardest time keeping my eyes open. So I took a little nap, and then when I woke up, my sister, not like, I didn't even really like fall asleep. I just sort of like rested my eyes. And then my sister made me a smoothie. But she made it with kale, which I don't like, but thankfully the fruit, you know, disguised the kaleness, and it was really good. And I decided to, start making more like smoothies, and like it really helped with like waking me up and like making me like more alert and stuff. And like after like resting my eyes, and then I had the smoothie, and I was like fine for the rest of the day. Um, and so the week last week, my sleep was fine for like the majority of the week. My sleep was fine. And then this week it started again, where I didn't, like, I think it was either Monday or Tuesday. I didn't fall asleep until about 7 in the morning. So I started doing that thing where like you get out of bed, and I'll like, come on here and like watch, some TV show or some YouTube or some like movie or miniseries that I have like saved or something. And that's sort of helped the insomnia sort of like not last as long. So there is actually something to that, getting out of bed. But it's hard because the insomnia, it's like I said, it's not the kind where like, oh, you can be so productive at like 4 in the morning. Like, no, you're exhausted, but you force yourself to get out of bed anyway for at least like a half an hour, and then you go back and try again. And that has helped. Like the past couple of nights, I've had the insomnia where like I'm not falling asleep until it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not falling asleep. So I'll get up at like, I'll get out of my bed, stay up for like, sitting up here for like half an hour or so, and then go back to bed and try again. And the past couple of days, that's worked. 4:30, I fall asleep, which is still not great, but it's better than the week before, where I wasn't sleeping until like 6, 7 in the morning, and then having to go to work. So I am just ready for this freaking insomnia, menopause thing, whatever the is happening, to end already. I am done with it. Um, because, these days that like I'm off, I don't want to take anything. I don't want to take anything because I don't want to be taking too much stuff. I don't want to do that to my body. Even though they say melatonin is like safe and what have you, still. And I'm not the kind of person that like, if I have a headache, I won't take an Advil. Like, no. As soon as a headache, any kind of pain or whatever comes on, medicate me. Medicate me and make this stop. But because I'm like that, I don't want to take other things, too much of other things. So that thing sort of like seems to be working a little bit, helping a little bit. The actually getting up out of bed and like sitting up here and like watching something, or for like a half an hour or so, and then going back, and that's helping a bit. I wish it wasn't necessary. I wish this would go away already, but here we are. Um, so yeah, that's sort of what's been going on. Um, and yeah, so gonna be cleaning up, gonna be I have chicken thighs, and I'm not sure with what yet I'm going to have them. But I have chicken thighs defrosting, um, and gonna be watching this hopefully today and finishing the Princess Daisy miniseries, um, doing some more reading, and I'm going to be working on a poster for, or like a little graphic for an ad campaign on BookBub, which I have tried for the first time last month, and I really liked the results from that. I think it did me well. It did me well. So I'm going to try a bit of a higher tier on BookBub and see how that goes. Um, and I'm just grateful that I am able to do that, that I have the finances to do that, the disposable income, as it were, to do that. And that is, part of that is, of course, the evil day job, but it's a part time job. The rest of that comes from y'all, those of you who buy my books. Um, and I'm very, very grateful to all of you, especially this week with the nice little rise in numbers. That was very, very appreciated. So I'm going to go now because we've been talking for over an hour. But this has been really good to sort of put me in a better kind of headspace to come on here and talk with you guys um, than yesterday. Um, I didn't want to. I saved it for today because I didn't want to do that yesterday. I just sort of wanted to deal with the day and sort of like forget it about the day, even though I couldn't, and just sort of go out and just sort of look at books and just do that kind of stuff. But that's going to be it for this week's video. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/authorejamie. Like my Facebook page at facebook.com/authorejamie. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!